Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ras al Ghul, and the Shredder. That is right, my friends. We are finishing off our look at the Batman vs. TMNT action figure lineup from DC Collectibles. Very special thanks to DC Collectibles, who sent this along so we can get a good early look at it, as it's not scheduled for release until December. So I'm really excited because this set right here was the one I was most looking forward to, because we got two awesome bad guys here. But of course, Shredder, man, I always love Shredder action figures. He's one of my all-time favorite villains, and this looks like it's going to be an incredible set. So just like we've seen with all of the other figures in this line, the two come in this nice window box packaging here with the Batman vs. TMNT logo. You can see the various accessories inside, and when we rotate it around to the back, we've got to look at all of the other figures that were released in this lineup, which I have already reviewed each of those, so make sure you check all those videos out if you haven't already. After this one, of course, because right now, I'm gonna rip this box open and get a closer look at the figures within. All right, so we've got our two big bads outside of the box with Ras al Ghul and the Shredder. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. We'll go ahead and start with the scale of these guys here. So you can see Ras al Ghul stands just above the full 6-inch mark, and Shredder is about exactly the same height. He's about 6.5 inches tall. So I'll go ahead and stand these guys alongside some of the other figures in this lineup. That way you can see how Ras al Ghul stands alongside characters like Batman, and of course putting Shredder alongside the Ninja Turtles, where you can see that he is a bit bigger than most of the Turtles, but he's definitely wider, a little beefier, except for maybe with Raphael there. But that way you get a sense of scale with these figures. We are going to go ahead and start things off by taking a look at Ras al Ghul. So I've been really impressed with the overall look of the Bat characters in this particular lineup. I mentioned before that I was really excited about these specifically for the Ninja Turtle stuff because I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan and collector, but I've been really impressed with the very cool animated look that all of the Bat family characters have. And Ras al Ghul is just like the rest. I absolutely love this guy. I think he looks fantastic. Has that very cool animated look to it. They've got that great kind of dark line work that you can see kind of in the folds and the wrinkles of his clothes there, which give him that more comic booky kind of look, or, you know, based on the animation from the film. But same with the face there. Like, I love all the angles and everything and the sculpt of the face, just the overall design of it, but looks really, really good. And the paint deco is nice and clean on this guy all the way through and through. You can see great colors there. I love how the gauntlets have a bit of like a metallic gold look to them there. But you can bring this all the way down, looking at his pants. Everything looks real nice and clean on this guy. And you'll notice that he does have a cloth cape. So the part that's coming up around his neck is actually made of a hard plastic, along with the little gold piece, the fastener in the front there. But the cape itself is a cloth material. There's a stripe going across the bottom there, and the way the cape is folded is pretty cool, though it's stitched that way right there. So even though I can fold it open and show you what the full span of the cape is, it's definitely meant to kind of stay folded like this across his back, because that's the way they've got the cape stitched together. That way it lays over his shoulders just like that. But it's really nice. I've been real impressed with the material used on the capes in this line so far, with characters like Batman or Bat Mikey, and Ras al Ghul is the same. I like the way it hangs. It's a nice solid feeling cape. It's got a good consistency to it, so pretty cool stuff. So we're going to talk about articulation here with Ras al Ghul. You can see the head is ball jointed, so it can kind of move side to side, look all around there. The collar gets in the way just a little bit. You can see the chin's kind of hitting it. The little weird side goatee thing he's got going, sticking off of his chin's going to rub it a little bit, but it's not so bad. Still get a pretty good range of motion. You got those ball-like hinge joints there at the shoulder, so the arms can go outwards. They can move forwards and backwards. You got swivels at the elbow, bends at the elbow. The wrists are ball jointed, so those can roll all the way around there. You do have a joint at the torso, so it mostly just kind of swivels left and right. We also have a turn at the waist there. We do have real tight ball joints at the thighs, and part of that is being hindered by the sculpt of the tunic there. It's a bit of a rigid plastic, so you're really not going to get the legs spread farther than that. You can slightly move them forwards and backwards as well. You can also swivel there at that ball joint. We've got double joints at the knees. Again, very tight. Look at that. You can see very tight joints there at the knees, but that's good because it'll keep them standing. And then the ankles there can swivel left and right at the foot, moving forwards and backwards, as well as rocking side to side. So it's very on par with what we've seen with all the figures in this line so far. Nothing crazy dynamic, but a decent amount of articulation, and the joints are tight, so he stays standing pretty well. So he does come with some swappable hands. We've got 4 hands total. So right now I've got like this left hand here, which is a bit more wide open. And then we've got a gripping hand on the right. We can also swap out for a gripping hand on the left. And then we've got kind of this martial arts pose there for a right hand as well. And this is very easy to do just by pulling the hands off the small little ball joints there. You can see a little ball peg. And then we can take the new hand and we can pop it on in its place. There we go. Now, the joints are a little tight, I noticed, at least the first time around, so just give it a nice firm push. You should be able to pop it on there. Sometimes it helps to, like, heat it up a little bit with like warm air from like a low setting on a blow dryer, kind of warm the plastic up, and that'll help you as well if it's a little too tight. He also comes with his sword as an accessory, and he can get a hold of that with his gripping hands here. However, it's a very loose grip. I mean, look at that. You can see he doesn't have a very tight grip at all, and it's that way with both of the gripping hands. So, you know, some of the figures had like little indents in the fingers where they would actually grip on a little bit tighter, but it doesn't seem to be the case with Raish here. So unfortunately, he gets a very loose grip on the sword accessory. Now, he's also got that open hand that I showed you. That hand actually works really well for holding on to one of, well, maybe it's Shredder's accessories, but could be for both of them, is the can of mutagen ooze, which is very cool. The little TCRI canister. And I'll go and show this to you now because I really like the canister that comes with this particular set because it's got a nice translucent green plastic in the center, which makes it look like the ooze is in there. We're going to compare this to the one that came with the Donatello set. You can see that the sculpt is exactly the same, but that one had like glow-in-the-dark paint in the center of the canister. I much prefer the new translucent one that comes with the Shredder and Ras al Ghul set, so that's pretty cool. But as I mentioned, Raish's open hand is perfect for holding on to that if you want him to hold on to the mutagen canister. So pretty cool stuff. Alright, so we are bringing things over to the Shredder. I love this, and I've been a big fan of the look of the Turtles characters in this style, and I think Shredder is no exception. It's a very cool look for the character. One thing I will say is that he's got quite the beefy upper body, and with the helmet, it kind of makes it look like he's got a very small pinhead, but it's accurate to the animation. That's the way he was designed, you know, kind of based on those comic books and the animation that we got there, but I think it's a very cool look overall. I love that it's using this version of the Foot Clan symbol, which is kind of like from the 2003 series, and I love that. It's probably been used elsewhere too, but I specifically remember it from that show. But I think he looks really great. It's kind of like a matte gray finish there on all of the spikes, and the spikes are made of a bit of a softer plastic, so they're a little pliable there. They're not super sharp, but they do look really good, and you can see he's got the same spikes, down there on the shins, but I love the color pattern as well, because he's kind of got like this mix of the original comic book style with kind of like the classic purple look of the cartoons, the original cartoons. What I mean by that, he's like, he got that maroon look in his tunic, which is definitely like original comic book style, but I love it because he's got like some of the purple highlights on there, and he's wearing that nice deep purple cape, which is awesome. And again, the material feels really good on this. I love the way it hangs down there. You know, it's kind of tattered down at the bottom, but it's just a very cool look for the character. I like it quite a bit.
So the articulation on this guy is very, very similar to what we just saw with Ras al Ghul. This whole shoulder thing, look at that. It's like a separate piece. There's little pegs on the top, so you can remove that. It actually can pop off the figure, and then you can just kind of plug it back in. You just got to like line up the pegs with the holes there. But just so you know, it will slightly hinder the articulation there a little bit, but not so bad. And like I said, you can just pop that off if you want to. Swivels at the elbow, bends at the elbow, same ball joints at the wrist, same turn at the torso and the waist. He's got the same thing going on where he's got a bit of a rigid tunic there, so you're not going to get a ton of articulation out of the legs at the hip joints there, but you can swivel the legs. You do have double joints at the knees, which I love how the joints are hidden by the armor that he's wearing. I think that's really cool. And then the ankles are the same. You can move them up and down. You can turn them side to side. You can kind of rock them side to side as well. So same type of articulation, nothing crazy dynamic, but it works good. It's solid. He stands really good. And like Ras al Ghul, comes with a slew of interchangeable hands. This is really cool. So right now, I've got him with the closed fists. And of course, you can swap these out if you want to for gripping hands. He comes with 2 gripping hands, so you could do it for either hand, either arm there if you want to, whichever one you want to add a gripping hand to if you want to do both. So that you can use for that mutagen canister, though the hand's not quite as open as Ras al Ghul's, and as we've seen with a lot of the figures in this line, it's actually really hard, rigid plastic on the fingers, so it's very, very hard to get this in his hand. It is possible, but you have to be a little careful with it, and this might be another case where heating up the plastic might be good if you want to put that mutagen canister in his hand. Aside from that, he does also come with one little shuriken, little ninja star there, so you can kind of place that. It works good because with the way those fingers are kind of close together like that, you can see he actually holds on to the shuriken, so that is pretty cool as well. But if you don't want him to actually grip anything, if you just want him to go to battle with those awesome claws, he comes with another pair of fists, but with the claws kind of elongated, like they've been extended, popped out, Wolverine style, schnicked. I love it. I think that is awesome. It makes for a really, really cool look for the character. I've always preferred kind of the longer claw pieces on his hands, and I think it looks fantastic. Alright guys, it's comparison time. Just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and stand this shredder alongside some of the recent other collectible shredders that we've received from NECA Toys, just to kind of show you what to expect as far as scale and style goes with this new figure. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at the Batman vs. TMNT Ras al Ghul and Shredder 2-pack. Once again, I have to give a very special thanks to the folks at DC Collectibles for sending this along for the purposes of this review. This set will be available at GameStop stores exclusively in December. This is also the final set in the DC Collectibles TMNT vs. Batman lineup. Now, Jim Fletcher from DC Collectibles did mention to me back at San Diego Comic-Con that they are already looking at doing a whole second series of these, possibly based on some of the other mutants we saw in the animation. So I really hope that that's the case, because I think this has been a really awesome line to collect. I think the designs are awesome, and man, I just love that we are getting so many different styles of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles characters in action figure form. Happy hunting, my friends. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, my friends.